Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. Well, this stock market has had an incredible run up, right? In 3 weeks went straight up and now kind of moving sideways. Now, I do think it's going to have a little bit of a pullback before it moves higher with the Santa Claus rally. But I think we're going to get the pullback. Now, I've been saying that for a while, and we've been moving sideways for a while. We're in a very overbought condition, and moving sideways, if you do that long enough, then you become not overbought and can move higher. But I actually think the odds are favoring a pullback here. Now I look at the VIX. The VIX still has a 12 handle. Every time it pops its head up to a 13 handle, it comes back down. Pops its head up, comes back down. Eventually that VIX is going to take off, and that's going to send the stock market lower. That's just my take. Now the S&P, it's holding above the 10-day moving average. The NASDAQ is now come down below the 10-day moving average. Now, one of them is going to go one way or the other. I think the NASDAQ is going to pull the S&P down with it. We'll see how that plays out. This is just my take. Your take may be that we're in this new bull market and we're going to the moon. It's possible. It's possible. I do think we'll get a run up into the end of the year because they want big bonuses, because they want me and you to feel rich. You see, you feel richer if the stock market goes up. You feel poor if it goes down, right? Because you got your 401k money in there and you have other money tied up in the markets and you want it to go up. But I think 2024 is going to be a very tough year for the stock market. I think it's going to come down a lot in 2024. We'll see how that all plays out. Now let's get over to the real estate market. Yeah, a lot of the articles, a lot of the realtors, it's the same battle cry, right? If the Fed pivots, then mortgage rates will fall, and this will create these bidding wars that are going to send houses to the moon. A lot of my moon boys think houses will double from here. Look, I don't see it that way. If the Fed pivots, they're going to pivot for a reason. And it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be a credit crisis, or it's going to be too many job losses. Both of those are going to be bad for the housing market. So when the Fed does pivot, I'm actually expecting the market to come in. Now, if you look at mainstream media, right? Mainstream media, they'll convince you that the housing market's still going up. The housing market is not going up. They're information 3 or 4 months old, and they can piece some things together where certain cities have a little bit of a bump here and there, and they make it seem like it's going up, right? A lot of my haters, a lot of the moon boys, I call them, they hate me because I think houses are going down. They're telling me, Mike, you got this all wrong. Just fess up and tell us that you made a big mistake and stop talking about the housing crash. Every title you put out has housing crash on it. Well, I believe there's going to be a housing crash. You believe they're going to the moon. We disagree, right? But I believe they're coming down. And you think I've been wrong. I don't think I've been wrong. New home sales have never fallen at a faster pace ever. They're down 18%. 18% from the high, right? So if you bought a new home up here at the high, you're already down 18%. How does that feel? It feels really bad, I would imagine, right? You'd be a little bit upset if you were one that bought up at the top because it's come down 18%. And it's worse than that. It's worse than that. I'm telling you, they're buying down the mortgage rates, right? They're doing buy downs from 7.5, buying them down to 5.5. That's expensive. That should be another 20, 30, 40 grand. And that means that new homes are down over 20%. The luxury home market is falling apart, and it's falling apart quick. I mean, you can go to San Francisco and get some of these luxury condos, right? Now, there was one, I think it sold back in 2016 or something, luxury condo. Great view of the city, right? Paid $3.5 million, but they wanted to get out now. Well, guess how much it sold for? 1.9. 1.9 from 3.5 to 1.9, and they did it. They bought it. They've held that for like 7 or 8 years, and they lost all that money. I wonder how that feels. Probably feels pretty bad. I don't think we're at the bottom yet. I don't think we're close to the bottom yet. yet. Yes, you can find deals out there. There's people that are willing to take 30% off to get out. People want out of this marketplace. I was just looking at a house just yesterday, right? Okay, so anyways, the market comps are at $1.5 million. They're willing to take $1 million because they want to get out now. It's actually a divorce. Sometimes divorced people want to sell right now so they can settle the divorce, but they're willing to take 30% off. I was tempted to look at that one, maybe go get it and try to flip it, but I don't know how quickly this market's going to come down. Maybe it's already worth less than $1 million, but they're starting to come down. But the reason I don't think we're at the bottom yet, now I can talk about, I'm an old guy, right? I was around in the great financial crisis. Now there, the luxury home market, it was a bloodbath. I'll tell you about one property. Anyways, person bought it for $2.8 million. The bank loaned over $2 million on this property, but the person didn't make their payment. They went into foreclosure and gave it back to the bank. The bank took it back. They had a $2 million loan. Nobody wanted to bid $2 million, so the bank took it back. Now it's a bank-owned property. Well, how much did they sell that for? My client bought that for $1 million. $1 million, 3,600 square feet. Beautiful part of Los Gatos. The lot and the street just sold for $1.2 million, and he bought a house for $1 million with 3,600 square foot house on it. Basically where they were giving the house away. They were selling that property for less than a lot sold just the prior year. Look at when things come down, it gets real painful real quick. And things are coming down in the luxury market, down over 25%. $4 million houses, they're having price cuts of over $1 million. Look at, do I have all this wrong? Maybe it hasn't hit your area yet. Maybe where the Moon Boys live, it hasn't gone down yet. But I don't think I've got this all wrong. Yes, I think it's just starting. I don't think we're at the bottom yet. I don't think we're close to the bottom. This is just starting, but it's starting to play out and it's starting to snowball. Look at. The problem is not interest rates. They say when mortgage rates come down, everybody's going to start to buy these houses. Mortgage rates are not in a bubble. Mortgage rates are not in a bubble at 7.5%. That's not a bubble. That's pretty average, pretty normal over the life's mortgage rates. That's not outrageously high. But what is in a bubble, what is in the greatest bubble in the history of the world is prices. Prices are in a bubble. Look at, more than mortgage rates have to fall for this market to get back to normal. And more than mortgage rates will fall. I'm telling you, the prices will come down by about 30 to 40%, 50%, maybe even overshoot the long-term average. To come down to the long-term average, you need to drop by 40%. Now, everybody said, but Mike, that's impossible. We can't drop by 40%. Look at, we just went up by 40%. Why can't we drop by 40%? Took us 2 years to go up by 40%. I bet we could drop by 40% in 1 year. Now, granted, it's probably going to take longer than that to play out. And I know the comments go, Mike, it's not going to do it in a year. You're probably right. It'll probably take longer, but you don't know what's coming. You don't know if there's a credit crunch, how bad that's going to be in the real estate market. You don't know when the job losses come, how many desperate people are going to be selling their $1.5 million home for $700,000, $800,000. You don't know how this all plays out. Now, in your area, it's going to continue to go up. I get that. You live in that great area, but not everybody has that great area. Look, you can listen to mainstream media. You can go out and buy a house now. Dave Ramsey will tell you to. Barbara Cochran, they'll tell you to. But you see, it's not a good time to be buying a house. You're almost at record highs where Billy Bob got out at. The mortgage rates have tripled, yes, tripled. And it's just a terrible time to buy a house. I don't think there's ever been a worse time. Now, I'm a real estate broker. I love real estate. People say, Mike, you hate real estate. No, I don't. There's going to be great opportunities. And I hope you wait for those opportunities. You buy now, you're not going to be getting those opportunities. Look at, things out there are not good. I'm telling you, they're not. You can listen to mainstream media. You can look at the stock market. Look at the stock market. It's going up to record highs. I believe that. I believe we'll hit a record high before the end of the year. I believe that. Okay. But that's not the economy. The economy's messed up. The economy's going down. Tax receipts are going down. Now here, I was listening to this other economist on another YouTube channel. Now he was talking about how there's no recession coming. No recession. Look, I think we're in a recession, but he says there's no recession coming. We're going to have a soft landing. Now, here's where he did kind of agree with me, and I kind of found his outlook on this really strange. Now, I say within 5 years, now most of the people that are watching the show are probably going to be around 5 years from now. I hope I'm still around in 5 years, but in 5 years, this was going to be a different world, especially for the United States. Here's why. Okay, within 5 years, I think it's going to happen in 3 years, to tell you the truth. Within 3 years, I believe that 50% of all tax money coming into the government will go just to pay interest on our debt, just to pay interest on our debt. Our debt right now, $34 trillion. I think within 5 years, 50 trillion, piece of cake. Might get there in 3 years the way we're going. But you see, now he agreed that we're going to be spending 50% of our tax revenue to pay off just the interest on the debt. He agreed with that. But he says this is a good thing. Now, this guy's really optimistic, if you want my opinion. He says this is a good thing. The reason he says it's a good thing is because the government will react to that and they'll start to spend responsibly. Now, I could not agree more disagree with them, right? Our government is never going to take fiscal responsibility. They're the ones that got us into this mess. They're the ones that got us at $34 trillion in debt. They're the ones that got us with $100 trillion in unfunded liability. We don't have money for Medicare, for Social Security. We don't have it. It's unfunded. Look, it's not good out there. They'll tell you that it's good. They'll tell you, look at the stock market. But he says that this is good, that the government will then be forced to come into fiscal responsibility. I don't see it that way. They're not coming in until the market crashes. And this market's going to crash for many reasons, You got commercial real estate could bring it down. You got zombie companies. These are the companies that they cannot even pay the interest on their debt. They don't bring in enough cash flow. Kind of like our government will soon be a zombie government. Look at their zombie shopping malls. They don't bring in enough rent to make their mortgage. They're handing the keys back to the bank. This is not good. This debt is rolling over. And it's not rolling over at the 2 or 3% that it's financed at now. It's rolling over at 7, 8, 9, soon to be 10%, soon to be double digits. Layoffs are coming, soon to be double digits. It's not pretty. You can say it's pretty. You can watch mainstream media. You can read all those Moon Boy comments in there saying, but Mike, you got to come out and tell everybody you're wrong. You've been saying this for years now. You don't know what you're talking about. Look, I think I got this pretty right. I think things are starting to come down. New homes down over 18%, really over 20%. Luxury homes down 25%. Desperation homes, people getting divorced, people going into foreclosure, willing to drop their price 30% in good areas, good homes. They just want out. They want out now because they see the writing on the wall, because they lose a job, because they get divorced, because somebody dies. I'm selling one in January. Someone passed away. Now we're putting that on the market. This is what happens. Look at the inventory is going to be there. There's going to be a lot of inventory for a lot of different reasons. I could go over some of those reasons in past podcasts, and I'll go over in the future, but one of them is just the baby boomers. Baby boomers getting ready to retire. They don't have any money, right? 1 out of 10 baby boomers is ready to retire financially. Financially, 9 out of 10, they're not secure. Their money's in their home. Well, how are they going to get the money out? Sure, they can go get a HELOC. Sure, they could do a reverse mortgage, but a lot of them are just going to be dumping it on the market because they're afraid. They're afraid they don't have enough money for their retirement. Yeah, they'll downsize into a little apartment. Apartment rents are coming down. down. This is a dangerous world out there right now. You can go buy right now. I'm more than happy to sell you a house. I'm a real estate broker, but you're going to be a bag holder. Look at people when they buy from me, they have to sign a piece of paper saying this house can and probably will drop 50% because I don't want them to sue me. And that's who they always sue, the dumb real estate agent. That's just the way the world is. We're a lawsuit happy world. And that's a whole nother discussion down the road. Well, anyways, I got a little bit carried away there. I got fired up today, but hopefully you like this stuff. So give me the thumbs up. Why not? Why not? Get out there, everybody. Punch the subscribe button. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye now.